here's a story that's really scarifying.
It's that time of year again, folks. Halloween. The season of trick-or-treating. Or, if that's too much work, you can just grab a bunch of candy and watch some of your favorite scary cartoon specials. And if you need recommendations, we have a Halloween treat for you. Welcome to Wicked Binge. These are cartoon Halloween specials, silly to spooky. Starting out with the silly end of the spectrum, let's talk about King of the Hill's Halloween. Like the vast majority of this Texas set series, Arlen's celebration of Halloween is a safe and fun one.
Try it with me, son.
That is, as long as you aren't stuck being taught about the dangers of premarital sex by Junie Harper, a new reverend who's heaven-bent on shutting this horrible holiday down. For a Halloween special, it's actually pretty wholesome. And more than anything, it's an inspiration to kids and parents alike that there's nothing wrong with having some sweet, innocent fun on Halloween. It's also a fun satire on the tendency for some parents to try and label Halloween as a devil worship holiday.
Halloween is just good, clean fun. It's got nothing to do with the devil.
I mean, just let the kids have their candy, Harper. But what if we took the wholesomeness and threw in a little bit of spookiness as well? Then you'd have Gravity Falls Summerween. When you've got a show that takes place over summer, it can be hard to pull off a Halloween special. But let's face it, Gravity Falls is a show that would not be complete without one. Dipper has to bounce between his promise to go trick-or-treating with Mabel and his desire to go to Wendy's Halloween party. All while the trick-or-treat squad is being forced to collect candy for the mysterious Summerween trickster as ransom for their lives. Whether you're looking for a wholesome story about Halloween spirit or a semi-horror movie plotline, this is a perfect episode for you. Just don't settle for loser candy while you watch.
1 piece of black licorice?
Circus Peanut! This is loser candy.
4 pieces of candy? This is gonna take forever!
Next we have Fairly OddParents' Scary Godparents. Fairly OddParents is one of the most divisive Nicktoons out there. But one thing is for sure, they knew how to celebrate the holidays. Halloween being no exception.
And I'm the Wicked Witch of Where's My Candy?
As a kid, the idea of costumes coming to life was an exciting one. Whether you're a mummy falling apart at the seams, a jack-o'-lantern shaped Transformers knockoff, or maybe even a frog on a fur trampoline, this special is all about childhood imagination. It reminds you of how much of a spectacle Halloween is in a kid's eyes. And if you're still a kid, or a kid at heart, you might get some cool costume inspiration. But next, let's move on to a special that's a bit, or rather a lot less kid-friendly. Family Guy's Halloween on Spooner Street. Being that this is Family Guy, this special is a good blend of dark humor and pure goofiness. There's a lot of violence in movies and sex on TV here, like Peter and Joe pranking Quagmire by injecting him with STDs.
We got him.
But there's also Stewie's adorable baby duck costume, as well as his confusion as to what Halloween is exactly.
Oh no, you see these holes? I got bit by a vampire. I'm a vampire duck.
This one won't frighten anyone, but it's also not one for the kids. But the big kids and grown-ups can grab some Halloween candy and laugh their asses off at one of those special post-season 7 episodes that's actually really good. Speaking of, when you think Halloween and SpongeBob, you'll probably think of the classic episode Scaredy Pants, or maybe the really cool claymation special Legends of Bikini Bottom. But there's one special that's more frightening than the others, and that's SpongeBob's Ghoul Fools. The Flying Dutchman isn't the only ghost haunting Bikini Bottom. In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick discover a houseboat haunted by singing ghost pirates. But don't let the songs fool you, they're actually really scary. The episode results in a war between the ghost pirates and the Dutchman, who's after his stolen treasure, and is one of the few SpongeBob episodes with an ending that doesn't fully resolve the conflict happily, leaving things on a surprisingly creepy note. It's one of the most fun SpongeBob episodes of the later seasons, and probably one of the most unique episodes in the entire series, so check it out. Now, did you know that there was even a Halloween special for Total Drama Island? Let's talk about Total Drama Island's Hook, Line, and Screamer. This is an episode that's less actual scariness and more laughing at how scared the characters are. The challenge, which is kept in the dark until the episode's already going, is simple. The campers have to act in a horror movie against their will to avoid the psycho killer with a chainsaw and a hook. Of course, it's just Chef at the end of the day. Surely there's no real killer there, right? Well, if you like cheesy horror movie tropes, this is a great episode to watch. And if you're there for the comedy, just keep an eye on DJ. The dude literally runs across the ocean floor just so he can keep screaming. And things aren't about to get any less bizarre either. Let's check out Regular Show's Terror Tales from the Park. This episode is basically Regular Show's answer to the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror series, except given that it's a kid's show, it's a bit more family appropriate. Don't dismiss it entirely though. It may be pretty goofy, but the imagery and stories can get into borderline horror territory. Rigby's story in the house, in the first of the specials, has him being turned into a house as revenge for egging a wizard's house. Muscle Man has his muscles quite literally exposed, and the rest of the park is murdered in various ways, albeit without too much gore. The endings tend to go pretty crazy in these episodes too. In one episode, there's the reveal of Muscle Man's mom, and in another, everybody literally just freaking dies in a car crash. Just regular Halloween fun. But being that we name dropped it already, it's only right to talk about The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Most episodes in this long-running anthology series are compilations of independent stories that give the town of Springfield a more cartoonishly scary vibe. One of the most memorable is when Homer literally sells his soul to a devil version of Flanders for a donut, only to later be tormented by him in hell. There's something for everyone though. In the very first Treehouse of Horror, poetry fans will find a reading of The Raven delightful. Probably. I don't know, I'm not a poetry fan. But we are fans of bizarre storytelling. Who doesn't want to hear about Bart having a secret conjoined twin? Or Ned Flanders becoming a dictator? Or Groundskeeper Willie becoming a Freddy Krueger character? It may be in good fun, but still, get ready to be creeped out or at least weirded out. Which brings us to some of the really scary stuff. The bronze medal of fright goes to Avatar: The Last Airbender's The Puppet Master. Differentiating itself from most of the other entries on this list, this episode comes from a series with strong reliance on continuity. But if you're planning a rewatch or a first-time watch, this episode is perfect for the season. It's about Katara meeting a woman who can use others as puppets by bending their blood like water, one of the most taboo tactics in the Avatar universe. And this series gets pretty dark, so that's saying something. It may not be specifically about Halloween, but given that its release was timed in October, due to its darker subject material, we're gonna mention it anyway. Plus, I mean, come on, the bloodbending is really messed up. Still, what's even more messed up is an episode that actually revolves around the holiday, Invader Zim's Halloween Spectacular of Spooky Doom. This is far from the only creepy episode in the series, and it's arguably not even the creepiest. We think that title might have to go to Dark Harvest. Nonetheless, this special really manages to stand out and embody the Halloween spirit without sacrificing Invader Zim's sense of humor. Zim and Dib work both with and against each other to escape an alternate dimension inside Dib's humongous, ginormous head, which happens to be hideously large, and all the while the series' endearingly creepy art style is shown off to its full extent. Look forward to scarier versions of Bitters, Professor Membrane, and even Gaz to threaten our heroes. Or our hero and Zim. Or our anti-hero and Zim. Regardless, just be ready for fun. And don't worry, Gur's in this one too. In fact, he may be the scariest of all. Hide your candy, kids. But the gold medal of fright has to go to an Umbrella entry. I don't think anyone will disagree that pretty much any episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog belongs at the top of our list. Seriously, this show still gives us the creeps. In a good way though, where shows like Invader Zim are more dark humor. Courage focuses a lot less on comedy and a lot more on telling interesting stories about the terrifying monsters that torment Eustace, Muriel, and their dog Courage, who, may I say, is not cowardly in the slightest. Not sure about you all, but if I had to deal with claymation violinists haunting mummies with the demand to return their slab, or whatever in God's name that blue fetus thing in the You're Not Perfect episode was, I'd be screaming 24/7 too. Seriously, that thing gave me nightmares for weeks as a kid. Courage is definitely the best cartoon for the spooky season, but whether you want to laugh, scream, or a little bit of both, just make sure you guys have a wicked Halloween.